Here we are, we're going to talk a little bit now about kinetic energy. Kinetic energy means energy of motion. That word kinetic really means moving. So it means moving energy. And any mass, which means any object that is moving, that has any velocity greater than 0 meters per second, is going to have some kinetic energy. And the equation that we use to calculate kinetic energy is kinetic energy equals 1/2 mv squared, where Ke stands for kinetic energy, m stands for mass, and v is the velocity of the object. So there's the mass, there's the velocity. So kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 the mass times the velocity squared. So let's look at this situation. We have a 2,000 kilogram car. It's traveling with a velocity of 10 meters per second. What is its kinetic energy? Well, in order to calculate that, all we have to do is just set this equation up. Kinetic energy equals 1/2 mv squared. Plug in a few numbers. The mass, 2,000 kilograms, times the velocity squared, and the velocity is 10 meters per second. We're going to square that. So kinetic energy equals, in this way, let's say 10 times 10 squared is 100 times 2,000. That gives us, and we're going to divide that by 2. So that gives us, let's see here, that would give us 100,000. And that's going to be kilogram meters squared per second squared, or kilogram meters per second squared times meters, which would be a Newton meter. And that would be a joule. So the energy here is Newton meters or joules, just like it was before. So the kinetic energy of a 2,000 kilogram car traveling 10 meters per second is going to be 100,000 joules of energy. Kinetic energy is simply energy of motion. Kinetic energy, remember, is calculated by using 1/2 mv squared. In this case, the mass of the car, the velocity of the car, the velocity was squared. That gave us 100. Multiply 100 times 2,000. Then divide that by 2 to get 1/2 of that, and we get 100,000 joules. That's the kinetic energy.